with another amazing session of today. After getting so much juicy insight from Rami, right now we're going to get more juicy insight on how to effectively time manage. Oh, and I'm staying for this one for sure. Y'all, we have Laura Kisan from DraftKings, y'all. We're here with DraftKings, absolutely. They have been a talent acquisition specialist at DraftKings for almost 3 years. She started her career in higher education and quickly found her passion for helping students land exciting roles to start their own careers. Y'all, let's give it up for Laura in the chat as well as in all the emojis. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's so awesome to be here. This is such a great community. We are always so excited to be partnering with ColorStack. I have a short period of time today, so I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. Let me share my screen very quickly. All righty. All right. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. Welcome to our FAM Friday. We do have a packed agenda today. Starting off, we're just going to chat about who DraftKings is, what we are like as a company. I'll dive quickly into our campus recruiting program. And then, of course, the bulk of the presentation will be on time management, how to effectively manage your time, and hopefully you get a lot out of that presentation. And at the end, we will wrap up with some Q&A. So diving into who we are, DraftKings is an entertainment technology company. Our mission is to be one of the world's largest and most beloved digitally led consumer companies, reaching people all over the world and creating incredible and engaging experiences for our customers. Our vision is to responsibly entertain, engage, and unlock passion in people all over the world. We are an international company, so right now we have about 9 office locations all over the world. We are headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts, but we just established a second headquarters in Las Vegas, Nevada. When you think of kind of a sports betting entertainment company, you definitely think of Las Vegas. So we're very, very excited to have more of a ground presence there so soon. These are our core 4 product verticals. We have since established some other products in addition to these, but these are kind of the main ones that we offer right now. The first being daily fantasy sports contests. The second being a sports book, which is live in states where sports betting is legal, of course. We do have an online casino platform, as well as a marketplace offering NFTs or non-fungible tokens. I always like to touch on responsible gaming, as that is a very big part of our culture here at DraftKings. We have a lot of teams and tools in place to help users that may be struggling with gambling addictions to get help. We allow them to set budgets, limits, cool-off periods, in addition to allowing them to self-exclude for a set amount of time if that's what that player might need. We also partner with a number of different organizations, as you can see on this slide here, just to make sure that we're staying ahead of trends and research that we're seeing within gambling addictions. Another big part of our culture is our inclusion, equity, and belonging space. We have an entire team of people dedicated to inclusion, equity, and belonging. We call it IEB. We also have 3 different business resource groups that you can see here. They are employee-led, and they are a fantastic way for us to kind of learn from one another and bond with each other. This space is really the reasons why we're even able to partner with fantastic organizations such as yourself. Our inclusion, equity, and belonging team is such a big resource for us when it comes to partnering with diverse organizations. So we are very, very grateful for this team. And then diving straight into our DK campus recruiting program, I always like to touch on the roles that we can offer you all. So we have 4 different types of positions that we offer. We have an internship program, which is a 10-week-long summer program. We have opportunities for software engineering students as well as analytics students. Typically, we only hire juniors for these positions because we do put a very strong emphasis on converting our interns to full-time associates after successful completion of the internship. These roles get posted in August, so hopefully around the career fair time, which hopefully all of you will be there this year, we will have those roles posted for you all to apply for. And usually we fill them by the December timeframe, so almost like a year in advance. We also offer co-op positions. So these are 4 to 6 month long positions within the fall and spring semester. We have opportunities within the data science space as well as software engineering. And same thing goes for this. We typically target juniors for this position. And then, of course, we have full-time positions as well. We have rolling start dates depending on whenever your graduation date might be. And we have opportunities within a lot of different spaces, usually data science, engineering, as well as analytics. And again, we get these roles posted in August, and they're usually filled by December. We also have an early risers program. This is a 1-day-long immersion program that happens within our Boston office. And this is targeted specifically to the freshman and sophomore students out there. So that gets posted typically within the February timeframe, and it happens in May. So definitely a great program for the underclassmen that are looking to gain a little bit more experience and learn about our programs and job opportunities. And then I always like to touch on, what we can offer you within these positions. You are able to make impactful contributions from the very beginning. We really pride ourselves on making sure that we're giving you work that is real world work experience. We want you to dive in and learn as much as you can within the first few weeks of starting at DraftKings, and hopefully have a long career with us. We have a ton of opportunity for mentorship as well. Every new employee that comes into DraftKings gets paired with a mentor from day one. So they have just another person to be kind of a resource and, a networking opportunity as well. And then, of course, we have opportunities for you to grow your professional development skills. We offer a ton of different trainings, as well as networking opportunities for you to meet new people, learn about new jobs, and just grow as an individual within the company. This picture here is a picture of our interns a couple summers ago at a Red Sox game. We love to take our interns to do kind of fun events like that. So hopefully that will be you one day soon. All right. Now I will dive into what we are spending the majority of our time here today, Time Management 101. I always like to start out with a quick quote that kind of encompasses everything that we talk about when it comes to time management. Productivity is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort. This quote really just ties in everything of why it's so important to manage your time. You cannot be productive if you're not managing your time well. And hopefully today we're going to kind of walk you through the steps to effectively manage your time. So why do you need time management? We can think about this as an employee at work. So what you're contributing to the organization, or what the organization is benefiting out of you managing your time, as well as what you individually gain from effective time management. So within the organization, they're able to get work that's delivered on time, of course, improved utilization, and workload management. It's just easy for everyone to make sure that they know what they're working on, they're not feeling overwhelmed. And someone who's managing their time well is able to do that. Individually, you'll have a better work-life balance. Your stress will be significantly reduced, and it's a great opportunity for you to gain skills and progress your career. So when you effectively manage your time, you're able to get your day-to-day tasks done, but you're also able to set aside time for you to grow personally and professionally. So these are the reasons why time management is so important and will have such an impact for the better in your life. So DraftKings likes to look at 3 different things to effectively manage your time. The first one is know your big rocks. The second is prioritizing your tasks. And the third is to identify your productivity patterns. So we are going to spend time diving into each of these 3 sections. And then at the end, again, I'm saving plenty of time for any Q&A that you might have. So the first one, know your big rocks. Let's dive in. So understanding what your big rocks are can really help you focus your time on what's most important. So when you think of a beach or a jar that's listed right here, thinking of the beach, I guess thinking about those big rocks. So the big rocks are your biggest priorities aligned to your goals. The pebbles are tasks that you need to get done, but are not exactly your biggest priorities. And then the sand and water are things that just waste your time and kind of bog you down. So you want to filter the sand and water out when you're collecting those big rocks and pebbles. So these are the 6 Ds to help you make more time to focus on those big rocks or identify those big rocks. The first one is do smarter. Reconsider the objective of each activity or meeting you have and ensure it's being done in a time efficient manner. This is kind of what I like to think of. Does a meeting have to be a meeting, or can it be an email? Does it have to be an hour long, or can we get this done in 15 minutes? So just thinking a little bit smarter when it comes to really kind of managing your time in that sense. The second is delete. Delete any unnecessary activities that do not add value to the final objective. Decline. Do not accept too much work or the wrong type of work. Decline meeting invitations that you feel are not essential. And it's okay to, decline an invitation and explain why you are declining. Sometimes it's just important to effectively manage your time, and you only have so much time in a day. So you need to make sure that, you're declining things that you feel are not necessary for you. Delegate. I know this might not be as possible, if you're just starting out in your career, you're an intern or things like that, because often things are delegated to you. But as you grow in your career, you'll learn how important it is to delegate. So whenever possible, delegate activities to your peers or direct reports, just making sure that you're communicating when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed or bogged down by tasks, and just delegating that out to other people as much as you can. Decrease the scope of activities or reduce their frequency/duration. Defer activities and meetings that are not urgent. So really learning to prioritize, which things are urgent or important. And that's kind of what we'll dive into in just a bit. So those are your big rocks. Identifying those big rocks, know your big rocks, make sure you're prioritizing them. And now we're going to get really deep into prioritizing those big rocks. So think about each of your tasks in terms of urgent and important. And we'll talk about how you can kind of separate those two things. So urgent really means, it requires immediate attention, and it comes with clear consequences when you are not able to deal with them right in that present moment. And you really don't want to spend time thinking about this section as, putting out fires that come up. Fires will come up, and you'll have to make time for them, but really thinking about the tasks that you're kind of trying to plan ahead as much as possible in terms of urgency. And then important is things that contribute to personal or professional goals, and they add value and they make a difference. What's important is subjective and depends on your personal goals. It does require planning and thoughtful action. So making sure we're separating things into urgent and important. This is our little chart that kind of explains how we identify things that are urgent or not urgent, and then also important or not important, and how we can kind of really whittle down into like what our big rocks might be and what that sand and water might be that we can kind of get rid of. So I am happy. You are welcome to kind of take a picture of this. I'm happy to send out slides afterwards because I know this is definitely a lot, but the urgent and important, that means you kind of have to do it right away, right? They're crises, they're emergencies, they're really pressing problems, or they're projects that require a strict deadline. Oftentimes when you're working with clients or getting projects done to present to senior leadership, a lot of these things will come with urgent deadlines. So it's important to make sure that that's in the urgent and important section. So making sure you're doing it. The not urgent and important, that would be to schedule it. And that's about 50% of your time. So that's a big chunk there. And those are things that you can think about in terms of, professional development skills and goals that you have, making sure you're growing those things. They might be long or short-term project plans and any routine tasks that you might have. For example, once a week, I have to send a data analytics project over to a team. And I do that, regularly scheduled on my calendar. I know when I'm doing it, and I know when I'm taking the time to send it out. So things like that, making sure you're scheduling time to do them. The urgent but not important would be delegating it. So these are things like, busy work that you have, project update meetings, some regular routines. Just delegating that to someone else to kind of take care of and manage is going to be really important. And then the delete it. So this is anything that is not urgent and not important. It should take up 0% of your time. And I am definitely, I do this all the time, scrolling on my phone, internet browsing, looking at LinkedIn, learning, different things. It's really, really important to just make sure that we're focusing when we need to be focusing. So deleting anything that is just not taking up value in your life will really, really help you in the future in terms of managing your time well. And the third and final, thing that you can do to help you effectively manage your time is to identify your productivity patterns. So I have a bunch of different tips on how you can identify your productivity patterns. The first is habit stacking. I learned about this in a recent podcast, and I thought it was so interesting. I always think of it, I really need to learn how to floss my teeth. I need to make sure that I'm prioritizing flossing my teeth. So I'm habit stacking that by, I brush my teeth at a certain time every single night and every single morning, right? And so I'm trying to get in the habit of flossing right before I brush my teeth and just making that a habit on top of another habit. And that's the best way to really establish, patterns of productivity and just manage your time a little bit better. That's obviously a personal example, but it definitely can happen in your professional life too. Use short bursts of effort when tasks seem overwhelming. The Pomodoro technique is a great skill that I learned. It requires just thinking of a task and then setting the timer to 25 minutes and working on that task for 25 minutes straight, and then giving yourself a 5-minute break. So you're kind of working in 30-minute increments, but setting the timer for 25 minutes and then another 5. This really allows me to just kind of focus on one task at a time and making sure that I know that I'm getting a break to do whatever I need within the 5 minutes after that 25 minutes. It's been super helpful for me, and especially in terms of bigger projects. Experiment with time tracking or checklist apps. Create contingency plans, kind of thinking of the best and worst case scenarios when outlining possible outcomes. And then seek to reduce time wasters, like I mentioned before. Setting do not disturb things on your phone is super helpful. Blocking social media sites and silencing your notifications when you're working on bigger projects has been extremely helpful. Slack and chats, they can get very distracting when you're trying to work on larger projects. So it really is helpful to just block some time off. People know that you're busy during the day if you're, at work 9 to 5. So it is okay to not get back to people right away. Taking some time to really help yourself and focus on you is going to really, really help you effectively manage your time. All right, I'm going to pause there for any questions that you might have. I will stop sharing my screen while I help answer any questions. Let's see here. All right, I see a question. What is the tech stack used at DraftKings? That's a great question. It definitely depends on the team that you'll be working on. For software engineering, we use Java, JavaScript, C#. Those are kind of the main things we use on that side of things. For data science, they typically work in Python or SQL. And then for analytics, we use something called Snowflake, which is very similar to SQL. Obviously Excel, and then Python is thrown in there as well. So Python is used more for the data science analytics side of things, and then Java, JavaScript, C# is used more for the engineering side of things. Great question. Another one, what are some common time management mistakes you see professionals make, and how can we as new entries in tech avoid them? That's a really great question. I would honestly say it's going back to the point that I actually just made last. As a new grad and new hire, I constantly felt the need to say yes to everything. And while that's fantastic, you want to learn a lot, especially when you're first starting out, it is really important that you are following the steps that I just mentioned to prioritize what is important to you. So if you find yourself, becoming a little overwhelmed, or thinking that, maybe there's a meeting you're being invited to that is not necessary for you, making sure you're speaking up and saying, hey, I don't think it's necessary for me to attend this. Maybe I'll attend next week or next month, things like that. Also, I would go back to silencing Slack as well. I felt the need to respond to my boss right away when I was working on things that really needed to require a lot of my attention and dedication. Specifically, I would give, data analytics example, working on reports and managing data. It's important for you to be locked in and present, right? So responding to Slacks on the slide just kind of takes me away from my work. So block out your calendar and, use that time to work on project work and silence your notifications during that time. People know you're working. People know you're getting stuff done. It is okay if you do not get back to them right away. And if your manager or someone, says anything about it or has a conversation with you about it, you can let them know, hey, I need dedicated time to focus on this project. And that's why I couldn't respond to you. Just being open and overly communicative about that stuff will be very helpful. But it's making sure that you do that, right when you first start, so people don't get used to you just saying yes to it all, because it gets overwhelming. What is the biggest advantage you have experienced with via good time management? That's a great question. I would say I feel a lot more confident in the work that I'm submitting, and the meetings that I'm taking. I constantly feel like I'm more present and able to bring my full self to work because I'm not thinking about the other things that I have to do. And when I submit a project, I know that I got it done and I got it done correctly. So those have been the best things for me. But of course, like personally, I would also say I'm just less stressed and I'm more confident. What are some projects that interns would work on? That is a very great question. Again, it totally depends on the team that you're placed on. But like I mentioned before, we really do prioritize giving our interns real world work experience. And that is because we make sure that, or I guess not make sure, but we really prioritize our interns getting full-time return offers. So we want to be giving you all work that's going to be touching, external customers or internal facing, large teams. So we've had interns work on anything from like, one intern literally created the dark mode of our mobile application. Like, we are giving you concrete work experience. We've had interns build out dashboards for teams that are still being, in use today. We've had interns come up with new product ideas, new features. So we really make sure that we're fully immersing you on a team for the summer, and we expect, great work out of it as well. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you could be working on just depending on the team that you're placed on. For DraftKings data rules, what do reviewers expect to see on a resume, and how's the interview like? Great question. So for our data analytics positions, we are really looking for any type of prior work experience you would have within the analytics space. And that can be school coursework. It could be personal projects. It could be volunteering for an organization. Doesn't have to be, paid work experience. It's just kind of creatively like what you're doing in terms of that data analytics experience. And the interview process is all case study based. So there's 3 different case studies and then 1 behavioral interview. So it is a 3-step interview process for that side of things. Any sweet internship at DraftKings? So yes, we hired around a little over 30 software engineering interns for this summer. Like I said before, our roles get posted in August, and then we finish hiring by December for the upcoming August. So this past August and December, we basically hired all of our summer 2024 interns. So we do recruit a little bit early. So like I said, at the career fair in August this year, that's when we'll be hiring for next summer's interns. How do you balance urgent tasks with important tasks that are not urgent, especially under tight deadlines? Important tasks that are not urgent. That's when I would make sure that I'm scheduling time to get things done. I constantly have like a packed calendar because I'm blocking off time to get certain projects done. I even block off time on my calendar to respond to emails. Like that's how much I am blocking off my calendar to making sure I'm just staying ahead of my day, and staying ahead of projects that are really under tight deadlines. Does DraftKings incorporate AI? Good question. I have not worked on any roles that have incorporated AI, but I definitely think that it's something that our leadership team is talking about for the future because it is the future. So, not at the moment, I don't believe, but potentially in the future. Does DraftKings attend any conferences or networking events? Yeah, absolutely. We attend, gosh, I'm trying to think of all the ones we attended this year. Our inclusion, equity, and belonging team is kind of responsible for the ones that set up, different conferences. We were just at Women in Technology conference that I think it happened in Boston recently. We went to, I'm blanking on the name. I want to say it's no, not Color Stack. Gosh, I'm blanking on all the names right now, but we definitely attend conferences. It is typically for our larger organizations that we partner with. But yes, we are around and out there. I believe there's a link that is attached somewhere in the chat, maybe around here. I can't see it on my screen, but it is our talent community. So I definitely encourage you to sign up for that talent community. And let us know if there's any organizations that you all are a part of that you want to see us at. We are very receptive for taking, information from the public and just making that happen. So we're connecting with all of you. We want to be in spaces that people want to see us. So absolutely, yes, we are around and out there. Do you think time management and stress management go hand in hand? Yes, absolutely. I think when you're able to effectively manage your time, you are able to effectively manage your stress. Just feeling like I said before, being able to manage my time has made me less stressed and made me more confident as a person. So I do believe that they go hand in hand. When you're able to effectively manage your time, you're able to take care of yourself better and incorporate things that are like stress management tactics. When I start my morning, I'm habit stacking and making sure that, I'm getting up, I'm not looking at my phone, I'm going for a walk before I have my coffee, different things like that. So in turn, that kind of helps me manage my stress and feel more productive throughout the day. So I definitely believe that. And I think we have time just for one more question before I say goodbye to everyone. How about managing time while dealing with imposter syndrome or general burnout? It's a really, really great question. And I'm actually hoping that maybe one of our next Fam Fridays that we host is around imposter syndrome, because I think a lot of folks, specifically in the tech space, really do feel that imposter syndrome. And I know it's really prevalent in, recent grad hires as well. So you're not alone if you're feeling that way. It's super relevant. I've dealt with burnout a lot of times in my career. And when I feel burnt out, I make sure that I'm taking a day off or I'm communicating to my manager what I'm feeling, and just setting a little bit more time aside for myself and for my stress management. I think oftentimes when I feel burnt out, it's really because I'm not managing my time well and I am feeling really overwhelmed. And so communicating that to the folks that are around you, that are on your team, that manage you, it's important to have that open communication so that you can work with them to figure out ways to not feel like that going forward. Not everyone has the tools in place to, be able to learn how to manage their time. Not everyone is able to attend, things like this. So it happens often. And as long as you're communicating it, a good manager is going to help you find ways that, help you in terms of feeling that way. So taking some time for yourself and communicating is the best ways I could mention for this. Awesome. Well, I think that's it for me, but thank you all so much for being here. You know, we really, really appreciate this partnership that we have with you all. So I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Bye.
Yes, thank you so much, Laura. Y'all give it up for Laura and DraftKings. Shout out to them. Y'all, after that, I'm like, I need to schedule in my emails. Like, yeah, absolutely. And how much it has on an effect of how you feel, like stress wise, and like even with imposter, like if you have everything you need and you were prepared and you managed that time, then maybe you wouldn't feel so stressed. I'm like, what? Anyways, thank you so much to Laura, and I hope y'all had a great time at the session. How did we feel about the session? How did we feel about the session? Let's hear it. Yeah. Hey, I feel like all of us are working towards like time management, and especially because our time, like our attention span is just getting shorter and shorter. Yeah, we got to work. Let's all hold our hands together and work together on this time management for sure. Oh my god. No, someone literally says stressing about the tasks that you need to do, but you're too stressed to do them, literally. And then you do it, you take 15 minutes to do it, and you're like, wait, actually, if I just focused. But y'all, I completely understand. It is a thing of now, especially after COVID, while we're still going through it, but like after the pandemic, everything became, virtual. And so we're on our screens all the time, and it's so easy to forget. So y'all, I'm proud of y'all. We all on this boat for real. On the next Fam Friday, let's all tap in about our time management and how much better it is. Okay. But we have a giveaway question, absolutely. So be ready to type. Ready? The first question, the only question, sorry, the giveaway question is, what is one of the 3 ways to manage your time? Let me hear it. What are the 3 ways to manage your time? You have to put all 3, loves. In the same box. Hold on, let me see. It says, okay. Okay. Now, color stack team, let me know. Let me see. We haven't seen it yet, ladies. Oh. Oh, I think we found one. Give it up for Maya Ramsey. Maya Ramsey. Shout out to you. Also wanted to include Pomodoro. Sorry, let me see. Pomodoro, as well as know your big rocks, prioritize your tasks, or identify your productivity patterns. So shout out to you, Mia. The Color Stack team will be reaching out to let you know what you have won. So congratulations, and thank you for typing fast. So now we're gonna go ahead and transition into 15 minutes of roundtables in the lounge space. Feel free to join any table or create your own. Rami is still available. Hey, Rami, at the Color Stack Lounge if you have any questions for him. And up next at 3 p.m., we have the Squarespace panel. So with that being said, I will see you in about 10 minutes. Have fun.